While I was in a coma, they thought I couldn't be saved. My young wife and my brother stood by my bedside, holding hands, and divided up my property. "The lake house is mine," she whispered. "You take the business," he replied. They thought I couldn't hear them. They thought I was just a useless old man whose time had run out. They were wrong. I heard every word. And when I finally opened my eyes 3 weeks later, I didn't say anything. I just smiled, closed my eyes again, and started planning the most devastating revenge they could ever imagine. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are right now. The first thing I noticed wasn't the light or the pain. It was the voices. They floated in and out of the darkness like radio static, sometimes clear, sometimes distorted. "He's not going to make it," a doctor said. At 65, a fall like that, the brain swelling is significant. Then a pause. Then a softer voice. My wife, Elena, 30 years my junior. "How long?" she asked. "Days," the doctor replied. "Maybe a week. You should prepare yourselves." Silence. Then the sound of a door closing. I tried to scream, to open my eyes, to lift a finger, anything to show I was still there. But my body was a stone, heavy and immovable at the bottom of a deep ocean. I was trapped, a prisoner in my own skull. Then came the other voice, deeper, familiar. My younger brother, Mark, the one I had bailed out of debt more times than I could count. "It's a tragedy," he said. His tone was somber, practiced, a real tragedy. "Stop it," Elena snapped. Her voice was sharp, devoid of the tears I expected. "The doctor is gone. You don't have to pretend." "Just keeping in character," Mark replied, and I could hear the smile in his voice. "So, did you talk to the lawyer?" "I did. The will is straightforward. If he dies, I get everything. The house, the accounts, the life insurance. But the business, that's complicated." "Why?" "Because he left 49% to you, Mark. But he holds a controlling share. If he dies, his share transfers to me as his spouse. I become majority owner. And you'll sell it to me," Mark said. It wasn't a question. For $1, Elena confirmed, as we agreed. I lay there in the dark, my mind screaming. My wife, my brother, the two people I trusted most in the world. They weren't mourning me. They were liquidating me. "What about the lake house?" Mark asked. "That's mine," Elena said instantly. "I've hated that place for years. Too rustic, too old-fashioned, but the land value has tripled. I'm listing it the day the certificate is signed. And the classic cars, yours, I don't want them cluttering the garage. Just get them out fast." They spent the next hour dividing my life, like vultures picking at a carcass. My watch collection, my grandmother's jewelry, even my dog, Buster, my loyal old retriever. "We'll have to put the dog down," Elena said casually. "I'm not taking care of it. He smells." That was the moment the grief turned into something else. Something cold and hard. Rage. Pure, white-hot rage. They were going to kill my dog. They were going to erase my existence. And they were going to do it together. I realized then that this wasn't a sudden plan. They were comfortable with each other. Too comfortable. The way Mark finished her sentences. The way she knew exactly what he wanted. This had been going on for a long time. I wasn't just a dying husband. I was an obstacle they had been waiting to remove. Time became meaningless. I drifted in and out. Sometimes nurses would come in to check my vitals, speaking in soft, pitying tones. "Poor man," one said. "His wife hasn't been here in 2 days." "She's young," another replied, probably overwhelmed. I wanted to laugh. Overwhelmed. She was probably shopping with my credit card. I focus on that rage. I use it as fuel. I visualize my fingers moving. I visualize my eyelids opening. I replayed their conversation in my head, over and over, memorizing every detail, every betrayal. "Sell it to me for $1. Put the dog down." I've hated that place for years. On the 4th day, or maybe the 5th, I felt a twitch in my right hand. Just a spark. But it was there. I concentrated on it. Move, I commanded. Move. It didn't happen immediately, but the connection was reestablishing. The stone at the bottom of the ocean was starting to crack. The next time they visited, I was ready. I heard their footsteps before they spoke. Mark's heavy tread. Elena's clicking heels. He looks worse, Mark observed. Pale. It's the lighting, Elena said dismissively. Did you bring the papers? Right here. Power of attorney. If he doesn't die soon, we need control to start liquidating the assets now. The doctor said he might linger in a vegetative state. God forbid, Elena sighed. That would be inconvenient. She approached the bed. I felt her hand on my arm. It was cold. Just let go, old man, she whispered. Do us all a favor and just let go. That was when I opened my eyes. It wasn't cinematic. My vision was blurry, the light stinging like needles. But I forced my eyelids up. Elena gasped and jerked her hand back. Mark, she shrieked. He's awake. Mark moved into my field of vision. His face was a mask of shock, then quickly panic. Arthur, he stammered. Can you hear me? I looked from him to her. I saw the fear in their eyes. Not relief. Fear. They were terrified of what I might have heard. I tried to speak, but my throat was dry as sandpaper. A croak came out. I swallowed and tried again. Water. I rasped. Mark grabbed a cup with a straw and held it to my lips. I drank greedily. Then I looked at them again. I let my eyes go vacant. I let my jaw slacken. I stared past them at the wall, unfocused. Arthur? Elena waved a hand in front of my face. Do you know who I am? I didn't blink. I didn't react. I just stared at the blank white wall. He's brain damaged, Mark whispered, hope creeping back into his voice. Look at him. The lights are on, but nobody's home. Are you sure? Elena asked. Arthur, squeeze my hand if you can hear me. She grabbed my hand. I let it lie limp in hers. Dead weight. She squeezed harder. Nothing. Oh, thank God, she breathed, sounding genuinely relieved. He's senile, or a vegetable. This might be better, Mark said, his voice low. If he's incapacitated, the power of attorney kicks in immediately. We don't have to wait for probate. We can start moving assets today. I sat there, trapped in my own body by choice now, listening to them plot my demise right in front of my open eyes. I smiled internally. Go ahead, I thought. Sign the papers. Make your moves. Dig your graves. Recovery was slow. The doctors were amazed I had woken up at all. They ran tests. Cognitive function, motor skills. To the doctors, I showed progress. I answered their questions. I squeezed their hands. But I swore them to secrecy. My wife, I told Dr. Evans, a kind man with graying hair. She thinks I'm gone. I need to know why. Please, tell her I'm confused. Tell her I have memory loss. Don't let her know I'm fully back. Dr. Evans looked at me, puzzled, but he saw the desperation in my eyes. Patient confidentiality, he said slowly. I can restrict information of family if you request it, but Arthur, you need support. I have a plan, I said, just by me time. So, for the next 2 weeks, I played the role of the confused invalid. When Elena and Mark visited, I spoke in gibberish. I asked my mother, who had died 10 years ago. I called Elena nurse. I watched them relax. They stopped whispering. They started talking openly about the business transfer, the sale of the lake house, the nursing facility they were looking into for me, the cheapest one they could find, miles away from the city. We'll put him in Shady Acres, Mark said. It's budget-friendly. We don't want to drain the inheritance on his care. Perfect. Elena agreed. I'll sign the admission papers tomorrow. But while they were planning my exile, I was working. When they left, I used a hospital tablet. I logged into my bank accounts. I accessed my email. I contacted my lawyer, Mr. Henderson. Arthur, Henderson exclaimed when I called him. I heard you were, incapacitated. Elena sent over power of attorney documents yesterday, claiming you were unfit. I'm very fit, Charles, I said, my voice steady. And I need you to do something for me. Immediately. Anything. Freeze everything. The business accounts, the personal accounts, the deed to the lake house. Flag them for fraud. If anyone tries to move a cent, I want an alert sent to the police. Consider it done. But Arthur, your wife, is no longer my wife. Not in spirit. We'll handle the legal part later. Right now, I want to trap them. I spent the next 3 days gathering evidence. I remembered Mark's password for the company server. He was lazy. He never changed it. I logged in remotely. I found emails between him and Elena dating back 6 months. Plans to siphon money. Plans to devalue the company stock so he could buy it cheap. And discussions about my accident. I froze. My accident hadn't been a car crash. It had been a fall. A fall down the stairs at our home. I had tripped, or so I thought. I scrolled through the emails, my heart pounding in my chest. One email from Elena to Mark, dated the day before my fall. The carpet is loose. I loosened it. Just make sure he's rushing. Cold sweat broke out on my forehead. They hadn't just waited for me to die. They had tried to kill me. This wasn't just greed. This was attempted murder. I downloaded the emails. I forwarded them to a secure cloud account. I sent copies to my lawyer. Then I lay back on the pillows, my mind racing. They were going to try again. If they realized I was recovering, they would finish the job. I had to be careful. I had to be perfect. Do you think I should have called the police right then? Or was my plan to destroy them publicly the better choice? Let me know in the comments below. Now, let's see what happened when I finally went home. I was discharged a week later. Elena came to pick me up. She looked annoyed. The nursing home isn't ready yet, she told Mark on the phone as she wheeled me out. He has to stay at the house for a few days. It's going to be a nightmare. I sat in the wheelchair, drooling slightly, staring at the ceiling, playing the part. When we got home, she wheeled me into the living room and left me there. I'm going out, she announced. There's a sandwich on the counter if you figure out how to walk. She grabbed her keys and left. I waited until I heard her car drive away. Then I stood up. I walked to the kitchen, poured myself a glass of water, and stretched. It felt good to be vertical. I walked to the study, my study, and opened the safe. Empty. She had already taken the cash, the bonds, the spare keys. I walked to the garage. My 1967 Mustang was gone. Mark had taken it. I walked upstairs to the master bedroom. My clothes were packed in boxes. Her clothes filled the closet. She had already erased me. I went back downstairs and sat in my leather chair. I waited. I had called a meeting. Not a business meeting. A family meeting. I had invited Mark. I had invited Elena's parents. I had invited my own parents. And I had invited the police. But first, I needed them to confess. I needed them to think they had won completely, so they would lower their guard. At 6 p.m., Elena returned. She was laughing on the phone. It's done, Mark. The transfer went through. The business is yours. We're rich. She walked into the living room and froze. I was sitting in my armchair, dressed in a suit, holding a glass of scotch. I wasn't drooling. I wasn't staring at the wall. I was looking directly at her. "Hello, Elena," I said. My voice was clear, strong. "Welcome home." She dropped her phone. "Arthur? You're lucid?" "Yes, I have been for weeks." "But," the doctor said, "the doctor works for me. I pay his bills, just like I pay yours." Mark walked in then, grinning. "Elena, did you tell him about the—" He stopped. He saw me. He saw the look on Elena's face. "What's going on?" "Sit down, Mark," I said. "We're waiting for guests." "Guests?" Mark stammered. "What guests?" The doorbell rang. It was our parents. They came in, confused. "Arthur, you're okay," my mother cried, hugging me. "Elena said you were gone mentally." "Elena lied," I said, watching my wife. She was trembling. Elena and Mark had been lying about a lot of things. I picked up a remote and pointed it at the TV. "I think you should all see this." I played the recording I had made on my phone while I was in the hospital bed. The audio was crisp. He's a vegetable. Sell it to me for $1. Put the dog down. The carpet is loose. I loosened it. The silence of the room was suffocating. My mother gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. Elena's parents looked at their daughter with horror. Mark turned pale gray. Elena started to back away. That's taken out of context. We were stressed. We were grieving. Grieving? I laughed. It was a harsh, ugly sound. You were celebrating. You tried to kill me. Elena! The carpet. I found the emails. No, she screamed. It was Mark's idea. He told me to do it. He wanted the business. You liar. Mark shouted. You said you hated him. You said you wanted the money for your design studio. They turned on each other instantly, like rats in a bucket, screaming, pointing fingers, confessing to everything in their desperation to blame the other. I only loosened it a little. Elena shrieked. You pushed him. I didn't push him. Mark yelled back. He tripped because you pulled the tack out. Enough. I roared. They froze. I don't care whose idea it was. You both did it, and you're both going to pay. The doorbell rang again. That will be the police, I said calmly. I sent them the emails an hour ago. Attempted murder is a serious charge. So is fraud, embezzlement, elder abuse. Elena fell to her knees. Arthur, please. I'm your wife. I love you. You love my money, I said, looking down at her. And now you have neither. The police officers entered. They didn't need much explanation. The emails were damning. The audio recording was a nail in the coffin. They handcuffed Mark first. He was crying, begging my parents to help him. My father turned his back. You're no son of mine, my father said, his voice shaking. Then they handcuffed Elena. She looked at me with pure hatred. You tricked us, she spat. You pretended to be sick. I learned from the best, I replied. They were led away. The house was quiet. My parents sat on the sofa, stunned. I'm sorry, I told them. I'm sorry you had to see that. I'm sorry we raised a son like that, my father whispered. We failed you, Arthur. You didn't fail me, I said. Greed failed them. The aftermath was messy. The divorce was swift. I got everything, obviously, since she was in prison. She didn't have much leverage. Mark got 15 years. Elena got 20, because she was the one who rigged the stairs. The business. I kept it. I fired everyone Mark had hired. I purged the rot. But the house, I couldn't stay there. Too many memories. Too many ghosts. I sold it. I sold the lake house too. I took the money, took my dog Buster, who was very much alive, and I moved. I bought a small cabin in Montana. Quiet, peaceful, no stairs. I spend my days fishing, hiking, and reading. I don't have a wife. I don't have a brother. But I have my life. And I have the satisfaction of knowing that while they sit in their cells, wondering where it all went wrong, I am free. They thought I was weak. They thought I was gone. But they forgot one thing. You should never divide the spoils before the beast is dead. Sometimes, late at night, I sit by the fire with Buster, and I think about them. I wonder they regret it. Not because it was wrong, but because they got caught. And then I smile, drink my whiskey, and watch the stars. If you enjoyed the story of survival and justice, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Share your thoughts in the comments. Did Arthur's revenge go too far, or was it exactly what they deserved? And click the box on the left to hear another story of betrayal. Thank you for watching.